Say yes.
These are my results. I am so happy.
Yes to confidence.
I'm so happy. I just put this dress on that I haven't worn in over 10 years.
Yes to a new shape.
Look what Sonobella did for me. Do you see this?
Yes to a new you.
I'm Dr. Elena Vega. Imagine you could remove this much fat from multiple areas all at one time.
Sonobello's board-certified surgeons use micro-laser technology to safely target and remove your diet-resistant fat cells for good.
I have the flattest tummy that I've had in 25 years.
I'm able to wear things that I never thought I would wear again.
I can wear a little black dress. I feel sexy.
Schedule your free, no-obligation consultation and find out how you can get $250 off instantly. Call 1-888-382-8139 or go to sonobello.com.
This summer is the perfect time to join the Jeep SUV community, where you can overcome more obstacles, bring the sun along for every ride, and electrify every adventure by going even further. Make this the summer you go anywhere and do anything. Make this the summer of Jeep.
During the summer of Jeep, well-qualified returning SCA lessees can lease the 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo for $319 a month, or purchase and get no monthly payments for 90 days.
Alana Brophy, good for Utah.
Now at 10, veterans and lawmakers sharing their experience after meeting with President Joe Biden in Utah. Plus,
we, don't have access to our homes right now.
The death toll climbing as wildfires continue to burn in Maui. How Utahns are coming together to help friends and family stranded there. And
be able to have access to the fastest internet speeds here.
Bountiful City will soon be home to an all-new, all-fiber internet open access network. How residents are responding.
Live from Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News celebrates 75 years.
Welcome to ABC4 News at 10. I'm Glenn Mills. Emily Flores has the night off. Thanks so much for joining us. Tonight, at least 53 people have died, and hundreds of homes and businesses have been destroyed in devastating wildfires on the Hawaiian island of Maui, the deadliest U.S. wildfire since the 2018 Camp Fire in California. Of the 3 fires burning in Maui, the Lahaina one is 80% contained, while efforts are underway to contain the other 2. ABC's Melissa Adon on the ground in Maui with the very latest.
Neighborhoods on the island of Maui in ruins after wildfires ravaged communities, reducing them to rubble. The destruction of Lahaina, the one-time capital of the Kingdom of Hawaii, astounding. Dramatic new drone video showing hundreds of homes and businesses reduced to piles of rubble and ash. These images show what Lahaina used to look like, and that same street now unrecognizable. Governor Josh Green touring the island today to see it all for himself.
What we saw was likely the largest natural disaster in Hawaii's state history.
The devastation painstaking for families who call this historic city home. John Singer sharing with KBC's David Ono how he ran for his life and into the ocean to escape the flames.
Devastation, everything gone. Not just mine. There's nothing left.
At least a dozen people rescued from the waters. Sean Doherty and his girlfriend among those jumping into the ocean.
At one point, it seemed like I might drown a little bit. I inhaled a lot of water.
In the town of Kula, 35 miles east of Lahaina, Nancy Garnett has been evacuated 3 times. Authorities say it's safe for her to go back for now.
It's just crazy. I can't even. It's just too much.
As others wait to find out the fate of their homes. Benito Castillo Lopez sharing with me how he feels terrible for those who have lost their lives and homes. Tonight, we did find one glimmer of hope. Steve Scott, who got separated from his wife Patricia, now reunited. Earlier, people lined up in their cars waiting for an opportunity to go see if their home was still standing, but police asking them to hold off and wait at shelters. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Maui.
Utah Governor Spencer Cox tweeting today saying he has reached out to Hawaii Governor Josh Green, assuring support and that the state is ready to help in any way possible. This as Utahns also coming together to lend a helping hand. The Vertical Art Dance Group collecting feminine hygiene and baby products in different locations across the state to send to Maui. The owner of that group, Summer Davis, used to live in Farmington and just moved to Maui. Tonight, she's sharing what the situation is like on the ground for her.
I've never seen anything like this before. Like I said, it was just totally unreal. And everybody is jumping in to help with anything. People have helped us. We, don't have access to our homes right now. We're fortunate. I still have a home. Many people don't have homes to return to, and or vehicles. And yes, everyone is jumping in and helping.
If you would like to help the cause, we have links for you on our website, abc4.com. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints confirming all missionaries in Hawaii are safe and accounted for. 11,000 people have evacuated Maui, at least 500 of them members of the church. Stake centers on the island being used as shelters for the community. While the fires have damaged or destroyed hundreds of homes, the church saying the chapels in Lahaina appear to be undamaged. Time now for a first look at the weather forecast. Meteorologist Garrett James in for Alana Brophy tonight. And Garrett, just devastating fires in Hawaii. We have some here as well, but not to that extent.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Glenn. Definitely not to that extent. And hopefully we can get a little bit more rain here over the next couple of days that can maybe help the firefighters that are trying to put out those fires out there at the present time. Let's go ahead and take a look at the radar. A lot of that rain happened earlier today. The satellite radar does show that while earlier we were seeing showers and thunderstorms, really now we're looking at things fairly drying out at the present time. We can see a lot of this rain has just dissipated here over the last couple of hours, but to the south in Arizona, just to the west of Kayenta, we can see a couple showers out that way, but really staying dry in the Beehive State. This is what it looked like earlier in St. George. Saw some gusty winds. Definitely some lightning strikes and some brief downpours with many of these storms. In fact, we did see one flash flood warning earlier today for the Springdale and Zion National Park areas, but obviously those have since moved out of the area and those warnings no longer are in existence. Take a look at the precip potential for Friday. We are going to be looking at some solid rain chances along and east of I-15 tomorrow. I'll have more on those and everything that you need to know about the forecast here in just a few minutes. Glenn, back to you.
Garrett, thank you. Work together. That was President Joe Biden's message while addressing veterans in Utah and across the nation, for that matter, to mark the anniversary of the PACT Act. ABC4's Cade Garner was at the VA Medical Center in Salt Lake City for the president's speech.
His message was clear. It is our moral obligation as Americans to take care of our veterans and their families long after their service has come to an end. President Biden stops to take a selfie with someone before leaving the VA Medical Center. Just minutes earlier, the emotion in the room was somber.
We have many obligations as a nation, but we only have one truly sacred obligation, and that's to equip those we send into harm's way and care for them and their families when they come home and when they don't.
The president honoring veterans and highlighting the work the PACT Act has done for them over the last year. In Utah, a little over 3,000 applied for the increased health care benefits, with 2,800 already receiving those funds, totaling more than $12 million.
Those who have served our country, worn the uniform of our country, sacrificed their very lives, their health, and their families to make our country the special place that it is today. We honor you. Thank you for your service.
The president announcing the deadline to apply for the backdated benefits has been extended to Monday, and veterans can apply by going online to va.gov/PACT.
One of the things about the military, you're taught to be tough, stand alone, do what you need to do. It's awful hard when you're having problems and you think you have a mental health problem to ask for help.
The president says the VA is working to increase mental health services and that veterans' needs must remain a priority.
There's nothing beyond our capacity when we decide to work together to get it done. We never fail when we do that, never on any major issue. So God bless you all, and let's continue to work together. And God save our veterans.
While the president applauded everything the PACT Act has done in just a year, he called on Congress to do more, specifically to triple the number of housing vouchers for low-income veterans, saying no one, especially not those who've served their country, should be homeless. From Salt Lake City, Kate Garner, ABC4 News.
We also spoke with veterans and lawmakers who attended that event at the medical center. Here's how they are responding.
We actually got to meet him and shake his hand. And when I talked to him, I told him that the VA needs more money for health care and that we need more mental health workers. We need to pay them better. And when he came out and delivered his remarks, he actually commented that I'd mentioned that to him. So it's an honor to meet the president. The fact that they're recognizing this far-reaching, this is probably one of the most significant pieces of veterans legislation.
I always like to remind people that President Biden is the president of the United States of America. So it doesn't matter if you're Republican or if you're Democrat or if you're independent, he is our president. And for him to come to Utah to talk about the PAC Act, it was very important to me because both my uncles served in Vietnam.
Protesters doing all they could to grab President Biden's attention today, this in hope of bringing home Lieutenant Ridge Alconis, who's been imprisoned in Japan on a 3-year sentence. Alconis, a Navy lieutenant with family ties here in Utah, he was sentenced to prison after he was involved in a car crash that resulted in the deaths of 2 Japanese citizens. Supporters of Alconis saying he was wrongfully detained because it was an accident. He's currently 1 year into that 3-year sentence.
Hope to bring so many people together, the community, the world together, to bring Rich home, unite in faith, prayers. We know that miracles happen. Let's go.
Utah Senator Mike Lee has been at the forefront of trying to bring Alconis home. We turn now to the latest details in that deadly FBI shooting of a Provo man authorities say threatened to kill President Biden and other high-profile Democratic officials. ABC's Faith Abube with the latest.
The Federal Bureau of Investigation has launched a review into the deadly shooting of a Utah man during an FBI raid on his home on Wednesday. Agents were attempting to serve arrest and search warrants on 75-year-old Craig Robertson after they say he made credible threats to kill President Biden and other Democratic public officials. The list includes Vice President Kamala Harris, Attorney General Merrick Garland, California Governor Gavin Newsom, and Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. The deadly incident unfolding just hours before President Biden landed in Utah for an event.
The tipping point to me was President Biden was coming. He was going to be in close proximity, and this individual looked like he was on a planning path to carry out the attack.
A federal complaint full of screenshots details the dozens of threats Robertson allegedly posted on social media, one of them just 4 days ago. Quote, I hear Biden is coming to Utah, digging out my old ghillie suit and cleaning the dust off the M24 sniper rifle. The FBI says he has been investigating the self-proclaimed MAGA Trumper since last spring and alerted the Secret Service in June. Pictures included in the complaint show an arsenal of weapons and Robertson dressed in camouflage armed with a rifle. The Associated Press says 2 law enforcement sources confirmed Robertson was armed when agents raided his home. White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby on CNN.
We're glad that nobody in law enforcement was hurt. This is really not about just the rhetoric. It's about the actions that can sometimes go with that rhetoric.
And Kirby declined to say more about the investigation, deferring instead to the FBI as their review continues. In the meantime, a White House official who requested anonymity said the president was briefed after that raid. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
The Utah County Health Department confirming West Nile virus was found in a sample of mosquitoes tested near Provo and Springville. No human cases are reported yet, though. Public health officials warning the public to avoid exposure and are spraying areas to contain the virus. More than 1,200 pools of mosquitoes were tested, and this is the first positive pool detected. Officials warning residents to drain standing water, wear long sleeves and pants when outside, and use insect repellent. The virus can cause high fever, neck stiffness, disorientation, and convulsions. Utah family asking for help finding a loved one. 21-year-old Soraya Barney Hildebrand was reported missing on Sunday in Alaska. Family members reporting she left home for work that morning around 10 a.m., leaving her phone behind, which they say was not common. Soraya is with the National Guard, and her husband is on active duty in Alaska. Hildebrand and her family are from Utah, and Soraya attended Hillcrest High School. The family tonight telling us she moved to Anchorage to join the National Guard a few months ago.
And part of the reason why we want to be in contact with people from Utah is because she grew up there. She has friends there. Just in case anybody there has any kind of information, if she reached out to them, anything that people who haven't thought about or I haven't heard about for a while, just if anyone has any information for them to reach out.
The family describing her as an Asian American female. She is 5'8" with brown hair and green eyes. The family asking anyone with any information to call the Anchorage Police Department. That number right there on the screen. Draper City putting out an update on cleanup efforts after 2 homes collapsed and slid off a cliff back in April. The city saying the cleanup of the debris is now underway. Officials adding the home builder, Edge Homes, has hired contractors and is responsible for cleanup costs. Crews are using excavation equipment to clear and stabilize that area. Families in these homes were evacuated several months prior by city officials after they were deemed unfit for human habitation. Coming up, Bountiful City getting started on an all-fiber internet open access network. Reaction coming in after today's announcement.
We've got thunderstorm chances in the forecast through the weekend. I'll have the latest on your weekend forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Hair care for ABC4 Utah provided by Stephen Robertson at One Salon.
Bathfitter is your best choice for your bathroom model. Hi, I'm Rick Boomin.
And I'm Kayla Boomin with Bathfitter. We can do any tub, any shower, or convert your tub to a shower. Trust Bathfitter to make your bathroom beautiful.
Our easy-to-clean, one-piece seamless walls are laser measured for the perfect custom fit.
Installed in as little as 1 day by our Bathfitter team of experts and backed by our lifetime warranty.
Logan to St. George, we serve all of Utah. Call now for a free estimate and receive up to $600 off or special financing.
It's better with Bathfitter.
There we are. Please, calm down. You're really heating up, aren't you? Are you thirsty? How about a big drink of water? Down, down. There you go. Who's a good blaze? Oh, yeah. You want to scratch? That's nice, isn't it?
Home is where warmth is as much the temperature as it is a sensation. With energy-efficient appliances, you feel more comfortable and save money. Plus, Dominion Energy's ThermWise program offers rebates to support your haven.
And he's like, what, you don't trust me?
A monster in plain sight.
All of this could have been prevented.
What those in power knew about the psychologist who killed his son and took his own life. The 3-part Justice Files on Parth Gandhi, Monday through Wednesday at 6.
Bountiful laying the foundation for a city-owned fiber optic network. That is a subscriber-based bond. That means subscriber fees will be used to pay back the bond that builds the infrastructure. The City Council saying residents of Bountiful City will own the asset and they won't have to wait for some other corporate entity to decide when it's time for upgrades.
All throughout the process, their main concern was just they wanted speed and reliability, and they wanted to be able to, they also, our survey results told us that they wanted Bountiful City, that they would be happy with the network owned by Bountiful City, and so it's the perfect partnership to have Bountiful own the network and to partner with Utopia.
Officials say taxes will not be raised to cover the cost of construction of the high-speed internet service. Crews containing a small brush fire in West Valley City. That incident happening near the Jordan River Trail. Crews responding to 911 calls around 6 p.m. The cause of that fire still under investigation. Firefighters containing this fire within 2 hours.
We actually started out on a fire just south of here on the Jordan River Park Trail, down at 35th South, a lot smaller, and we just finished that one when this one came in. And then we all came down here, plus a couple more jurisdictions.
No injuries reported. The area catching fire for the second time in 2 weeks.
Time now for your forewarned weather with Garrett James.
All right, Garrett, you were tracking some monsoonal moisture earlier in the day. How are things looking tonight?
Oh, still tracking that moisture in the area. In fact, that moisture is slowly working its way further to the north, Glenn, closer to y'all's neck of the woods. However, we're going to be looking at some better thunderstorm chances here over the next couple of days. So if you missed out on it today, well, maybe not the best chances tomorrow, but we will be looking at better chances going into the weekend. Let's go ahead and take a look at the radar right now. Looking at a mostly empty radar, still a couple lingering showers over in Arizona right now, but if you take a look just west of Beaver County, you can see there's just the tiniest blip of green out that way, and it wouldn't surprise me if that's not even making its way all the way down to the ground at the present time. So while we are tracking no rain at the present time, the Futurecast does show that tomorrow we will be looking at these showers and thunderstorms developing towards the afternoon hours. Take a look at this. Just like clockwork, that monsoonal moisture a little bit further to the north, now causing these showers and storms towards the Wasatch Front, the Wasatch Back, and the Uintas towards about 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. However, towards southern Utah, while those rain chances today were a bit more isolated to scattered, going to be a bit more isolated to, I'd even say, sparse for tomorrow. We can see towards about 5 o'clock in the evening, there will be a few showers and thunderstorms in southern Utah, but most of the activity will be in northern Utah near the Wasatch Front. Then towards about this time tomorrow, there will be a few lingering thunderstorms, but most of it will be starting to taper off. And eventually by midnight, wouldn't surprise me if we start to dry out. But this is where things start to look a bit more interesting. The high resolution data is trying to show that thunderstorm activity really ramps up towards Saturday afternoon. Take a look at this. Towards about 1 o'clock along I-15, we can see thunderstorms developing and starting to become a little bit more widespread compared to what they will be tomorrow. So Saturday, I think we'll see slightly better rain chances. Storm threat for tomorrow, just a general risk for thunderstorms across the Beehive State, and that's going to continue over into Saturday as well. But that excessive rainfall threat, while today we saw the slight risk, we're not going to be looking at that risk for tomorrow. But that being said, there still will be the potential for flash flooding, probable for Capitol Reef, San Rafael Swell, Grand Staircase, but possible for Canyonlands, Zion, Bryce Canyon, Glen Canyon, and not very likely for Arches at this point in time. Temperatures out there right now, we're seeing temperatures mainly in the 70s, a few 80s sprinkled in, 75 in St. George, 71 in Blanding. Look at lows tonight. We'll be looking at temperatures falling into the 50s for a lot of places. However, a few 60s and maybe 70 or 2 sprinkled in. Tomorrow's highs in the 90s for a lot, but mid-80s for most, as temperatures are going to be a touch cooler thanks to that monsoonal moisture. Look at the Wasatch Front for the next 7 days. We'll see temperatures hovering right around 92 degrees. Thunderstorm chances for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday. However, for St. George, on the other hand, temperatures looking, well, naturally a touch hotter. Slight chance for storms tomorrow, but isolated thunderstorms Saturday and Sunday. Slight chance on Monday. Temperatures staying in the mid to upper 90s, but the triple digits return Wednesday and Thursday. Glenn, back.
Thank you, Garrett. Turning out to sports and Wesley Ruff, and keeping hope alive today.
Yeah, it's, you know, last year they went to the Little League World Series, and they got a chance to do that again this year. The Utah team lives to fight another day. We're going to introduce you to Utah State's new athletic director, and it is the start of the high school football season. Can you believe it? We've got highlights from tonight's opener when we come back with sports.
And he's like, what, you don't trust me?
A monster in plain sight.
All of this could have been prevented.
What those in power knew about the psychologist who killed his son and took his own life. The 3-part Justice Files on Parth Gandhi, Monday through Wednesday at 6.
Tomorrow on GTU, a mother-daughter workshop to prepare girls for back to school.
Plus a behind-the-scenes look at next week's Salt City Wine and Dine Festival.
And we're making garlic butter steak bites in the kitchen tomorrow on GTU.
Hey, honey, you have time to work on the shower tomorrow?
Hey, we're still on for Saturday, right?
Hello.
Thanks, folks. You heard it right here. West Shore Home is the fast, stress-free solution. Call the number on your screen right now. Take advantage of that great...
Welcome to LaBelle V Aesthetics, where experience matters.
LaBelle Vie was the first to bring the FemiLift to Utah, and we have more experience than anyone. The FemiLift addresses 3 common areas: pain, sensitivity, and urinary incontinence. We were the first in Utah to help women maximize their intimate moments by combining an O-shot with the FemiLift.
And guys, when you buy 3 P-shots, you get 6 real shockwave treatments free. Contact LaBelle Vie Aesthetics today.
Set summer in motion with the most adventurous Honda vehicles yet, like the Pilot and Passport Trail Sport and the Ridgeline. Built for better off-road performance and engineered for more adventure. This summer, create your own adventures with Honda, the most awarded brand in car and driver 10 Best history. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
At Utah Trim Clinic, reduce your body weight by 10 to 15%. We offer a new amazing semaglutide weight loss formula, a breakthrough treatment that can change your life. Utah Trim Clinic patients see remarkable results in shedding unwanted pounds. In less than an hour, you could be approved by our doctor and receive your first treatment for only $97. The medication can help burn fat, curb cravings, boost energy, and much more. Call today or visit utahtrimclinic.com.
Time now for ABC4 News Sports with Wesley Ruff.
It seems a little early, but the high school football season kicked off tonight. See what I did there? First game of the year featured Lone Peak hosting Bingham in Lone Peak's new stadium, and the Knights had a good night, especially quarterback Jackson Blake. He airs this one out. Jayshawn Mayberry hauls it in and takes it to the house, a 77-yard touchdown pass. In the second quarter, Blake goes to the air again. This time he hooks up with Brooks Wild, makes a shoestring catch there, and then he races 61 yards to the end zone. Touchdown, 14-0. The Miners get on the board. Little 6-yard scoring strike to Carson Sudbury, but it was 17-7 at the half, and in the third quarter, the Knights add a third touchdown. Blake to Trey Robinson. Great catch, stays in bounds. The Knights go on to win it by 20. 27-7 is your final. Most of the rest of the teams open their season tomorrow. And Little League World Series Mountain Region, Santa Clara, Utah stays alive by beating Montana. Damian Richards with a shot to center field. That's going to bring in Chaz Hickman, and Utah takes the 1-0 lead. Later, the fly ball here is dropped by the Montana center fielder. That allows Jackson Red to cross the plate with another run, 2-0 Utah. Montana cut the lead in half. They were threatening to tie it up, but Brogan Coop gets the big strikeout to end the game. Santa Clara wins 2-1. They will take on Nevada tomorrow for a chance to get back to the Little League World Series. And it's a new era at Utah State as the Aggies introduced their new athletic director, Diana Sabo, today. Sabo comes to Logan from the Big Ten Conference, where she was the deputy commissioner. Dana Green has the story.
Out of the 363 Division I universities, women make up just over 11% of the school's athletic directors. Diana Sabo is the first woman in Utah State history to lead the athletic department, and she plans on keeping the Aggies competitive in the Mountain West Conference.
I'm honored and I'm humbled to be a part of Aggie Nation.
Before serving as deputy commissioner in the Big Ten, Sabo worked for 4 years at Ohio State and doesn't have any connection to the Beehive State.
I don't have any ties to Utah State, but that's what makes it even that more important and that more special, because as I got more connected, I drove in last Friday and I started to feel it. I started to feel the respect and the tradition. There is a sense of pride that is unmatched.
It's a tumultuous time in college athletics with all the conference movement, but the Mountain West is in pretty good shape as they may look to add some left-behind Pac-12 schools in Oregon State and Washington State.
I have not received my crystal ball yet, and I'm still in transit, but I can assure you our university presidents are in alignment. We are looking at all options. Everything is on the table. Obviously, it is changing daily, but the Mountain West is a strong brand.
Sabo inherits a successful football coach in Blake Anderson and a new men's basketball coach in Danny Sprinkle. She's been impressed with the USU facilities and vows to support the student athletes.
Utah State athletics has a strong foundation, and I can't wait to be a part of how we elevate that and show the world. Let's go. Go Aggies.
Dana Green, ABC4 Sports.
Thank you, Dana. We wish her luck. Hey, the PGA Tour playoffs underway. Tony Finau, after the first round of the FedEx St. Jude Classic, is in a tie for 15th place.
Okay.
So he started at 10th.
He's there, though.
He just needs to stay in the top 30 to get the Tour Championship in a couple of weeks.
All right, go Tony.
Yep.
We'll be right back.
Have a car? A title? You could get up to $10,000 with TitleMax. Go to TitleMax.com and enter your car, year, make, and